Today we'll repair an old Dunhill Rollagas lighter. These lighters started production in 1953 and were made to be serviced and rebuilt. On top of that, these lighters are popular enough that parts are still widely available for purchase, meaning we can bring an old Rollagas to a functional state with relative ease. First, let's source our parts. I got my valve rebuild kit on Amazon. Next, you may need to replace your inlet fill valve. Unfortunately, the Rollagas fill valve cannot be disassembled to service it. Luckily, the Rollagas shares an inlet fill valve with the Ronson Veriflame lighter. There is a Type A and B valve available. I elected to use the Type A, which allows you to use a standard butane fill nozzle without an adapter. This final part is optional. I went ahead and purchased a pipe conversion needle from Amazon. This part converts the lighter from a vertical flame to a horizontal flame. Here's some of the tools we're going to be using. We're going to need needle nose pliers, a small slotted screwdriver, a large slotted screwdriver, a bit of wire, a pick or some other kind of pokey tool, razor blade, 1mm and 1.2mm drills, some super glue, some silicone oil. Okay, so before we get going, I'll let you know that in this video, I will not be going into great detail on fully restoring or disassembling the lighter. I will just be making one functional with the least amount of disassembly possible. Okay, so let's get started. What we have here is a 1975 Rollagas. It's a silver-plated model with a tartan pattern. The finish is in excellent condition, but there's some things wrong with it, and I can tell I'm not the first person to fiddle with this. With these vintage lighters, typically the issues you run into are bad seals, a leaking inlet fill valve, cracked flint holders, a crooked lid, worn flint wheel, a jammed snuffer, and missing pieces. I like to address one issue at a time, starting with what will stop me from proceeding to any other repair. On this lighter, we have a cracked flint holder. This will occur when the flint is left in the lighter for an extended period. The flint will deteriorate and expand, cracking the thin metal of the flint holder. You'll want to try to get a Rollagas that doesn't have this issue, but you'll likely get a really good deal on a lighter with such a defect. We'll start by removing the flint holder. I'll try retracting the flint plunger to see if we can get the holder to swing out. No luck. I'll go ahead and remove the screw that retains the flint holder. This screw is reverse threaded, so righty-loosey. Let's see if we can wiggle this free. No dice, it's really cemented in there by the old flint. I'm going to have to pick out what's left of the flint to try to free things up. And there we go, the holder swings out. Now I'll hold back the flint plunger and remove the holder, being careful not to lose the small spring that pushes on it. Now we can extract the plunger by tilting it out of the way of the roller spindle shaft. Remove the flint plunger spring. There's a small guide pin on the other side of the flint plunger spring. Be careful not to lose it. Remove the flint holder swivel spring. And finally remove the flint wheel from the flint holder. A replacement flint holder can be sourced from eBay along with the swivel spring, flint wheel, and reverse threaded retaining screw. They do come from China and can take some time to arrive. I'm not that patient, and I chose to machine one from brass. To install the new flint holder, we start by reinstalling the flint plunger spring. The flint plunger can now be installed into the flint block. Place it at an angle to get it around the spindle shaft. For For now, allow the flint plunger to rest against the spindle shaft. Lay the flint holder swivel spring in place around the roller spindle shaft. The short leg rests under the lip of the lighter casing. Place the flint wheel in the recess of the flint holder. Retract the flint plunger to allow room to install the flint holder onto the roller spindle shaft. Position the flint holder swivel spring behind the flint holder so that it impinges upon the leg of the flint holder. Swing the flint holder closed, raising it slightly so that the leg clears the lighter body. Wiggle it as you press it down into place to ensure the spring seats and allows the flint plunger to pass through the flint holder. Reinstall the retaining screw. The lighter is now ready to accept the flint. Now we will rebuild the burner assembly. Upon filling, we can hear that the fill valve is leaking. Remove the fill valve with a large slotted screwdriver. Here we see the new Type A Ronson valve next to the original Rollagas valve on the left. Lubricate the O-ring and install the new valve. Filling the lighter again, we can hear gas leaking from the burner plug, likely the result of dried out seals. We begin the valve rebuild by removing the burner plug with a small slotted screwdriver. Do this with the lighter inverted as there is a small wick spring behind it that can fall out and be lost. With the burner plug removed, I'll look for that spring. It would appear the wick spring is missing from this lighter. Next, we will remove the burner valve. Begin by turning the regulating wheel all the way up to remove tension from the internal burner valve adjustment lever it impinges upon. This will remove the lever's tension from the burner valve shaft. Now we will need to press out the burner valve. Place the small slotted screwdriver against the outer sheath of the valve rather than the center needle, and press out the valve. This is the burner valve assembly. You can see that there's a spring-loaded needle at the end that reciprocates when depressed. Remove the small spacer washer. Some lighters will have two of these. These two O-rings along with an internal seal are a likely culprit of the leak. They're dried out and stiff and will need to be replaced. This rebuild kit comes as a pack of 3 sets of parts. There's a large O-ring to replace the fill valve gasket, 2 smaller O-rings to replace the seals on the burner valve and burner plug, a replacement wick spring which goes between the burner plug and burner valve, a cotton wick pad, and another thicker green and white pad is included. This tiny rubber seal replaces the seal of the reciprocating needle inside of the burner fill valve, the burner valve needle spring, and a spare washer. To begin the overhaul of the burner plug, we will remove the O-ring seal. This O-ring is old, stiff, and has 0 stretch. The easiest way to remove it is to cut it off. Next, we remove the cotton wick pad. There's also a rubber pad that went underneath this part. Usually it's so deteriorated it's basically non-existent. I have found that it isn't necessary and any remnants can also be removed. I'll clean the part in alcohol before proceeding. Install the new O-ring seal. Next, replace the cotton wick pad by seating it into the top cup of the burner plug. Now we will rebuild the burner valve. We begin by removing the old O-ring seal, once again by cutting it off. We need to remove the bottom cap of the burner valve. It's friction fit to the main body. I use this steel wire as a tool to remove it. Start by bending it in half. We can place it over the recess where the O-ring seal was. Grip the wire with pliers, and with a small rocking motion, we can work the cap out of the body, being careful not to rock it too much as it could deform or even crack the body. Remove the valve needle spring. You can see how thin the walls of the body are and how fragile it can be. Remove the valve needle from the burner valve body and go ahead and clean your parts in alcohol. On the back end of this needle, there should be a rubber seal that seals against the cap when the needle is depressed by the lighter lid and snuffer. The only part left of this seal on this lighter is remnants inside of the base, which we'll need to remove to proceed. Notice how the edges of the base are slightly crimped over to retain the seal from the factory. Take the 1mm drill and use it gently to loosen up and remove some of the seal remnants. We're trying to remove the rubber, not the metal. Use a pick to remove any remaining rubber from the base. It should be empty to the shiny metal, ready to receive a replacement seal. To allow installation of the new seal, we need to remove the crimp at the base of the needle. We use the back side of a 1.2mm drill to spread the walls. Take the replacement seal and place it on your work surface. Apply a minuscule amount of superglue to either the valve needle base or the seal. Gently press the seal into the base of the valve needle. Some Rollagas repair kits include a length of uncut 1mm gasket material that's easier to work with. Now we can begin reassembly. Install the burner valve needle into the valve body. Install the replacement spring over the base of the burner valve needle. Replace the burner valve cap onto the valve body. Install the new O-ring seal. And finally, replace the burner valve washer. You could reuse the old one. It's time to reassemble the lighter. Lubricate the O-ring seal and place the burner valve as straight as possible into the lighter body. It should go in easily up to the O-ring. Push the burner valve the rest of the way into place. Place the burner plug spring into the cup on the top of the burner plug. Lubricate the O-ring seal. Align the burner plug with the recess in the base of the lighter body, being careful not to dislodge the spring, and install the burner plug. It's time for the first test. Fill the lighter with butane, then turn the regulator wheel all the way down. When opened, we can hear that the lighter releases too much gas even at the lowest regulator wheel setting. We can adjust this by screwing the burner plug in more. Still too much gas, let's adjust the burner plug tighter. Much quieter, let's give it a strike. Still too much, another adjustment is needed. Not quite, one more adjustment. Perfect. When we turn the regulator wheel, we can adjust the gas up and down reliably. Reinstall the fill valve cap. And And we are done. You are now the proud owner of a functional Dunhill Rollagas lighter. Now for that pipe lighter conversion. On the top is the aftermarket pipe needle, and on the bottom is the standard needle. You'll notice holes on the top and bottom of this needle, and a seal at the base of the flange. This seal stops gas from flowing past the needle when the valve is in the open position, directing gas through the needle itself, whereas the standard needle allows gas to flow past the needle when the valve is open. To begin the installation, invert the lighter and remove the burner plug. Retain the burner plug spring. Turn the regulator wheel all the way up to relieve tension from the internal regulator lever. Press out the burner valve assembly by pressing on the burner valve body rather than the center needle. Remove the O-ring seal. Use the steel wire as a tool by hooking it into the O-ring recess. Gripping the wire with pliers and gently rocking to remove the friction fit valve cap, being careful not to damage the valve body. Remove the valve needle spring and valve needle. Install the replacement pipe valve needle into the valve body. Reinstall the valve needle spring. Install the burner valve cap. Replace the O-ring seal. Lubricate the seal. Place the burner valve as straight as possible into the lighter body. It should go in easily until the O-ring seal makes contact with the recess. Press the burner valve into place. Seat the wick spring in the cup on the top of the burner plug. Align the burner plug with the recess in the base of the lighter body, being careful not to dislodge the spring, and finally install it. The pipe valve needle can be turned to align the port in the desired direction. Fill the lighter and replace the fill valve cap. Adjust the regulating wheel all the way down and make adjustments to the burner plug as necessary. Here I got lucky and set it correctly when installing the burner plug. And we are finished converting our Dunhill Rollagas to a pipe lighter. Well, this has been a rebuild of the Dunhill Rollagas lighter to a functional state. I hope this helps.